Police are investigating the mysterious death
of
a fairport native who was the CEO
of a Utah-based
tech company.
Which of these universes are you going to land? The first one that's real, or the gazillion that are not?
34-year-old Erin Valenti was reported missing 1 week ago today.
And then when you come out of it, it feels like reality isn't real. These simulations are, you might as well call them reality. Say, well, how good, let's say, will video games be in 100 or 200 or 1,000 years from now? If there's continued improvement, and you're in a full body haptic suit with a sort of surround vision, and it becomes, beyond a certain resolution, indistinguishable from reality.
Some people in the world believe that we live in a virtual, simulated reality, and that simulated reality is nowhere close to our base reality. It's a strange line of thinking, but what if I told you we can trace this theory all the way back to ancient times? It even goes as far back as the Aztec civilization. The ancient Aztec philosophers believed that the world was simulated in a book or painting that was written by their divine god, Teotl. We can also look at the Indian philosophy of the Maya religion, which is the whole belief that reality is an illusion and nothing is as it seems. Maya also means which is constantly changing, is spiritually unreal. There are many people that think our world is a fake, and that we are in a huge simulation controlled by someone or possibly a higher being. This simulation theory says that we are all likely living in an extremely powerful computer program similar to the Matrix. Today, we are going to learn about Erin Valenti, the company she worked for, and what she was working on, her peculiar death, and some of her last words to her family, which were, "We are living in a matrix." Let's start with her company, called Tinker Ventures. Founded in Salt Lake City, Utah, Erin was the founder and chief executive of this company, with a small group of 120 Pakistani workers, which designed technology products built for Android, iOS, and the internet. Tinker, a company you're probably not very familiar with, has worked on everything from over 700 products such as cell phone apps, tech marketplaces, and consumer websites for companies such as Facebook, Skullcandy, Metro PCS, and so many more. In Erin's ventures, she would often talk about and endorse cutting-edge technology that was drug-free, implant-free, mind-controlling brainwave interface technology aimed at mind control. Her Tinker Ventures company also invested in Control Labs, and this company was linked on her website.
There's now a wearable that lets you control your computer with your mind. It's being developed by Control Labs, a Manhattan-based startup that's backed by tech giants
Amazon and Alphabet.
Control Labs develops neural interfaces to make our interactions with technology more fluid, to the point where devices feel like they become part of you.
Control Labs was Thomas Reardon's Neuroscience and Behavior Center. Control Labs had a team of scientists and technologists with PhDs in computational neuroscience, and this company specialized in making cyborg-like products. And what I mean by that is they were working on biomechanics for humans. This company was also experts in signal processing, machine learning, and human-computer interaction. Here's a quote from Control Labs. "The future of brain-machine interfaces is non-invasive. Instead of surgical implants, Control Labs uses state-of-the-art detection and machine learning to read your neurons from outside the body. The first step will be technology precisely picking up the signals from inside your body to control devices outside of it with little more than natural gestures. The next step, and we are already closer than most people realize, will be reading the intention directly from your brain. Now let's learn more about Erin Valenti and the type of person she was. She was known for being very smart and kind, was very active, and she loved to hike. She was also a volunteer to fight against human trafficking and had a great sense of humor, as well as a successful career. Her friends and colleagues said that she was a very happy person. Erin was originally from Fairport, New York, and ended up living in Salt Lake City, Utah with her husband, Harrison Weinstein. Now let's dive into her final days. 1 week before she was found mysteriously dead. On October 1st of 2019, Erin flew out from Salt Lake City to Laguna Niguel, California to attend a seminar that will, according to them, change your life. This course was called Create Powerful, and it was a 3-day seminar designed for business owners, and a workshop, they quote, is to reflect and move beyond your perceived limits. Let's go over this course for a second. Some of the interesting points they have on their website for this course are becoming more powerful leaders of themselves and others and experiencing their relationships in a powerful way. It is for people connecting to their personal power. When you attend this course, you will gain a new relationship with fear, and you will see it differently and have a different kind of experience with it. This course will change your life. It will cause a transformation. And this life-changing experience will only cost you $6,500. According to a man named Rafferty, who was one of her friends that was also attending the course, he saw Erin talking and hanging out with some of the guests at sunset, having dinner on the lawn of the hotel. The following weekend, she met up with some friends and Silicon Valley colleagues to catch up and talk about her new business ventures that she had in mind. Her friends that she had dinner with said that Erin was very excited about these new business ideas. After this, Erin planned to fly back to Salt Lake City on October 7th to attend Women's Tech Awards, but unfortunately, she wouldn't make that flight.
And welcome back to Midday. The Women Tech Council has identified, they found them, the 18 most amazing women right here in our state. We put them up on the screen so you can see who some of these finalists are as that scrolls through. What does this mean about Utah's tech sector?
Entrepreneurship Excellence Award to Erin Valenti, founder and CEO of Tinker Ventures.
During her trip to Silicon Valley, she would call home almost every day to her family to express how excited she was to come home and put what she learned to the test. She would talk to her family about all these plans to start hiring a local team there so that she could work on other projects while still being at the head of Tinker. Erin would even talk about upcoming Thanksgiving plans with her family. These are all signs of a happy, healthy person. The following day on Sunday, she would have dinner with her friend and former first boss, J.J. Cardwell, who was a principal at Summit Partners. He recalls Erin telling him how helpful the Create Powerful seminar was, and she talked to him about how excited she was for her new business plans as well. The last person believed to had seen her was Dean Jacobson in Palo Alto on the afternoon of October 7th, right before she went missing. They had met on Sand Hill Road that afternoon, and he mentioned that nothing seemed unusual with Erin. Shortly after this meetup, at 3:30 p.m., Erin called her family in a panic because her rental car, which she said was parked just right around the corner, wasn't there where she left it. Her family said she sounded in distress, and her father Joseph said Erin was talking a mile a minute and wasn't making much sense at all. A short time later, she was able to locate her rental car, which was a gray Nissan Murano, while staying on the line with her family the whole time. While on the phone, she would start making her commute to the airport, But this is where Erin's behavior just gets more erratic and strange. At one point in the conversation, she told her mother that she had just filled up the car's gas tank just 10 minutes beforehand, but it was strangely already out of gas, and mentioned that she was going to miss her flight. She would continue her communication with her parents and husband Harrison until almost midnight, only getting more irritated and agitated as time went on. Her mother recalled that while they were on the phone, Erin sounded disconnected and paranoid. While on the phone with her mother, Erin said something very eerie and unusual. "It's all a game. It's a thought experiment. We're in the Matrix." Erin's parents later state that her behavior in those chilling final calls were extremely out of character. Later on in the night, while talking to her mother, according to reports, Erin got dead serious, and out of nowhere asked her mother, "Are you in on it?" This worried her husband tremendously, and he called the local police department to ask if they could conduct a welfare check on Erin. Reports from the family claim that Erin received a phone call from the police asking if she was alright. She told them everything was fine, and she was just joking around. A short time later, Erin's phone would fall silent and go straight to voicemail, more than likely due to it running out of battery, and sadly, this would be the last time her family would ever hear from her. Unfortunately, Erin would miss her flight and never return home, also failing to show up at the Women's Tech Awards. After not hearing back from their daughter the following morning on October 8th, her family filed a missing persons report with the San Jose police. But unfortunately, the local police force didn't take any action in trying to find her, stating that she was an adult and probably voluntarily went missing. Because of this, Erin's husband decided to fly out to San Jose the following day, and Erin's parents would follow just a few days later as well, all looking to hire a private investigator to find her. It took until October 10th for the police to file the missing persons report. The San Jose police filed Erin as a voluntarily missing person. Erin's family called the police's efforts a charade after the police told the family that Erin was an adult and she probably just took off for a few days. It seemed the search for Erin wasn't a priority for the police, and this upset the family. While Erin was missing, there wasn't any activity of any kind on either of her credit or debit cards. And before her phone turned off, her phone was tracked near South San Jose's Almaden Valley, which wasn't too far from the airport. Erin's family was very disappointed with the police department's response, and they ended up starting their own search for Erin, and created a Facebook page called Help Find Erin Valenti. They had groups hiking trails in the Bay Area looking for her, and locals in the community who owned drones searching around her last known locations, trying to find her. And even a bunch of pedestrians on foot searching for her rental car in the areas it was last seen. Here's one of the posts from her family on the Facebook page. The page stated that it was completely possible to have a sudden onset of symptoms like this for a variety of mental health and physical reasons. Even if there have not been previous symptoms, Erin should be considered a vulnerable person at severe risk, and the police should be involved, although they have continued to treat her as a voluntary missing person. If anyone has any influence with the San Jose of California police, I urge you to make this point. Harrison, Erin's husband, is also a psychologist, and Erin's mother is a nurse. It's difficult for me to understand why the police are not giving greater credence to people who have experience with people in psychiatric and medical crises, and who absolutely believe that Erin's last calls indicate that she was at peril.
And now to the latest in the death investigation of of Utah CEO Erin Valenti. Now, Valenti disappeared in California, and yesterday, reports are that her body was found
Inside a parked car.
Police are investigating the mysterious death of a Fairport native who was the CEO of a Utah-based tech company. 34-year-old
Erin Valenti was reported missing 1 week ago today.
Driving a rental car to fly out of San Jose. Her body was found
Inside that car.
It's not clear at this point why she was in California. Alarms were raised in Utah when she failed to show for the Utah Women Tech Council Awards,
Where she was a finalist.
On Saturday of October 12th, just 5 days after the chilling phone call with her family, one of the Facebook volunteers ends up discovering her rental car, which was about half a mile from her last known location. It was found in the quiet residential neighborhood on the 6500 block of Bowes Lane in Almaden, San Jose. Now, upon further inspection, the volunteer had noticed Erin's lifeless body in the back seat of the SUV. The search for Erin is now over, but it just raises so many more questions and suspicions. After police investigated the scene, it appeared no struggle had taken place. In fact, there wasn't even a conclusive cause of death. There was no evidence of foul play, and there were no signs of outward trauma or any physical harm. Not even any signs of suicide. So what really happened here? They conducted blood tests and concluded that the test showed negative for any prescription drugs or other substances, as well as no underlying health issues. Valenti's husband, Harrison, also added that Erin had no history of mental illness. There's never been any history of anything like this. No mental health diagnosis, no hospitalization, no substance use, no arrests. As clear of a record as you can get. This is incredibly unlike her. She is an extremely high-achieving, successful person, he said. According to the family, Erin would always surround herself with her friends and wasn't the type to bottle up her feelings. The autopsy report, which didn't come out for much later, claimed that she just died of sudden death in the setting of an acute manic episode. They say Erin died of natural causes, though they do not explain what exactly killed her. This autopsy report has a couple of red flags. Given that it took such a long time to come out, and the report was very vague, as it mentions she died of natural causes, but doesn't explain why an active and healthy 33-year-old woman would suddenly die for almost no explainable reason. Now, before we dive into some of these theories, first let's look at some of the facts. Erin was a very healthy and active person. She would even go skiing, climbing, and hiking. She had no history of a criminal record, let alone any depression or history of mental illness. She was an extremely successful businesswoman and had much more in life to accomplish and look forward to. She was even excited about going back home for her new business ideas. Not to mention spending Thanksgiving with her family.
There's now a wearable that lets you control your computer
With your mind.
The team thinks the technology will initially be used for augmented reality and VR. But Control Labs is also experimenting with medical applications.
But the technology will rewrite technology history.
She had an interest in brainwave AI interfacing, so much so that one of those very companies were linked on her Tinker website. She was distressed in her final hours and then suddenly passes away. Her death was labeled a sudden death after an acute manic episode, which, by definition, would be she passed away within an hour of an acute manic episode. How was her car found 5 days after the search began, when there were volunteers searching that area prior? The vehicle was found just a few blocks from where her location was last pinged on her phone. Does this suggest that the car was not there the entire time? Could the rental car possibly be dropped off and left there with Erin's body in it by somebody the previous night? How did nobody in this public neighborhood notice that there was a vehicle with a dead body in the backseat for 5 whole days? When she first called her family while searching for her car, why did the car end up in a different parking spot than where she left it? And why did her car run out of gas so quickly after she just refueled it? Could Erin have just been mistaken? Or was someone messing with her? Was Erin maybe taken out of the game for something she knew that the rest of us didn't? One of her final quotes saying, "We are living in a matrix," makes this case all the more strange. She was very successful and rubbing elbows with high-profile people in Silicon Valley. Could she have maybe been a victim of these non-invasive brain-machine interfaces and maybe she just knew too much? Erin previously endorsed brainwave machine technology that aimed at brainwashing on multiple posts on her Twitter account. One of her posts on Twitter oddly states, "Mind control equals neurocontrol." Her company even invested in Control Labs, which conducted non-invasive brain-machine interface research and biomechanics. Or was she maybe onto something that her competition wanted a hold of? I can tell you this much. It's not normal for her to just die. What if she was attacked by the elite through the very technology she was so interested in?
On the other side was the CIA, who was above all interested in psychological manipulation. Their goal was to create an infallible truth serum, wipe memories, turn humans into robots, and program them to kill.
Before Erin founded Tinker, she actually used to be the director of product development at Overstock.com and supervised a big team of 250 employees. In August of 2019, just 2 months before Erin's mysterious death, the CEO of Overstock.com, Patrick Bryan, resigned from his position. He was on the news making bizarre claims talking about the Men in Black, the government deep state, and cover-ups of political espionage. He claimed none of this was a theory because he was there when it happened. Patrick also mentioned that if he were to ever come back to America, the Washington apparatus is going to grind me to dust.
But there are other whistleblowers from within the federal bureaucracy with similar stories. And I can tell you the bottom line, and again, people didn't seem to get it last time. The bottom line is the big cover-up. There was political espionage conducted against Hillary Clinton, Mark Rubio, Cruz, and Donald Trump. And this isn't a theory of mine. This is some political position. I was in the room when it happened. I was part of it. They knew me, and they called me in 2015, 2016 to assist in something. And I didn't know who the orders came from, but I assisted. And I took some orders that seemed a little fishy. I know much more than I should know, and it's right to keep silent. Every time I see one of these things, somebody drive 600 miles to gun down 20 strangers in a mall, I guess I feel a bit responsible.
Erin worked at this company as well. Could somebody possibly be going after employees at Overstock because of something they know? Or are Patrick's statements all a crazy conspiracy theory? Or is it all just a mere coincidence? Or perhaps a manic episode surfaced from the seminar she attended in Laguna Niguel? But that seems highly unlikely due to the fact that the seminar motivated her and she was excited to get back to her work with her newfound knowledge. Or maybe the autopsy report is true and Erin really did pass away from sudden death of an acute manic episode and fell into a state of mental anguish. Whatever theory you believe in, this case is still very strange and has many unanswered questions. We may never know the full story of what happened to Erin Valenti. We hope Erin can rest in peace and hope that her family can one day get answers as to what really happened.